Hello, folks. Hello.
Hello.
Start letting y'all in early and
Hello. Hi, Michelle.
how's St. Cloud treating ya?
Not too bad.
Good, good.
We had a high of 67 today.
Are you kidding? It's that different than here?
What did you get?
What did we get? Did you say 67 or maybe did you say 97?
No. 97.
Oh, I thought you said 67. Yeah, no.
No.
I was like, what? How can it be so different?
I was out on my deck and granted I have a thermometer in the sun, but it was 102.
Oh,
Oh,
I
my word.
love that. I love it. That's
You
why-
love it?
Yes,
Some people do.
why I was out in it. I love it.
Yeah. I hate to complain in Minnesota, really, but you got to take the warmth while you have it. But
Mhm.
it's a little much.
Hello? Hello?
Hi, Barb.
No,
I'm having trouble renaming myself.
you don't have to be named for this one, so don't worry about it. We're
Well,
informal here.
I've pressed the 3 dots and it says rename. And
Okay.
I press that, but then I don't. Oh, here it is. Erase. I'm gonna be able to do it.
Oh, good! Yay!
Thank you.
Terrific.
Next.
Yeah, Karen, you're,
And now I need my picture. Start video, right?
yeah.
This is
There you
Barb
go.
Murray saying hello.
Hi, Barb.
hi, Barb. Hi,
Who's-
Sue.
It's nice to see you in person. Now I know what you look like. Oh, I got to rename myself. I am my husband, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you are.
Yeah, and Karen, you're still LWV St. Cloud.
Shoot. All right, hang on.
All right.
And I'm doing a quick, I'm just going to see how this moves here. Okay, that's what it'll do. Practicing all my little getting back and forth, toggling between all my stuff. Here we go. All right, so it takes me out when I do that and I come back. Okay. All right.
Well,
Mhm.
I am in the North Woods of Wisconsin, and we have just had a huge lightning and thunderstorm, and now it's all calmed down. The temperature went down 12 or 13 degrees.
Oh,
Setting it up for the Zoom.
lucky you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, I don't feel so bad having people learn league stuff tonight, seeing it's so hot. Ah.
And I will need water because I am combating major allergy reactions. So excuse me if I sniffle and sneeze and drink water.
I'll stop sharing for a while so we can all see each other and chat a bit until we get going.
Wonderful.
Practice all our pieces. We've been.
See, I should have to readjust so you can see my name tag.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
And look at, I did a league button.
Oh my gosh. Very
I'm all
efficient.
blinged out in league. My former Nana up in heaven would be quite proud of me for being all blinged up.
That's wonderful. Mm.
Okay.
I think that the Karens get the prize for frequency of name.
Yeah, look at that.
Yes.
A lot of them. Yeah. You're right. Look at that.
Oh, now we've got a Karen face. Nice. Welcome. So how many participants are we going to have with us tonight, Michelle?
As of so I didn't get the final count, but it was up to 53. So we'll see how we're.
Wow.
Might have
That's
had
a lot of peeps.
So yeah, we'll keep letting people in here and.
Fabulous.
Oh, there's another Karen. Karen copy. All right, that makes 4. We'll have to. I should have little prizes, right?
Yeah.
Who has the most? I still feel very romper room in this setting. You just want to call out people's names, and
It is.
I think the name Karen dates us though.
Yeah. How do I get my picture to show? Share screen?
It should be video.
No audio or video or
Oh, okay.
set up your camera.
There we go. There we go.
Hit your camera.
Oops. One too many clicks.
Ooh, we get.
Oh, see, now the Karens were being able to put a face to the name.
Sally from Duluth, always happy to get all our Duluth folks, and yay. It's be a great day to be in Duluth, I think, but maybe it was hot in Duluth too. I don't know.
No, it's a lot cooler.
We'll take it.
See, this reminds me more of what was the laugh-in skit where they had all the people's heads up?
Oh, yes. Yes.
I remember them. They break in and do those Goldie Hawn and do those little
Yeah.
sketches.
Yes.
And the baby that was on the big, who was that? That had the big sucker and the oversized, was it Lily Tomlin?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
We're really dating ourselves now, aren't we?
Yes.
I have done that a few times where I've talked about, I feel like, Hollywood Squares, and people look at you like, what are you talking about? Okay, I guess I'm officially over the edge there.
Are we onto a new screen now?
It's good to see everybody.
Ooh,
We're
fabulous.
gonna wait a few more minutes, keep you coming in. Oh, Liz, hi, good to see Liz. Miss you, seeing you guys. So this is really fun. I think the biggest challenge to convention, we feel very ready for convention, is using the webinar. So we will, because we have over 100 and almost 150 people, it's just really hard to manage large meetings with debate and all of that in this environment. So in the webinar, we're not all looking at each other. So we need to get our social energy out tonight, and then we're all alone in the webinar setting. It feels very strange. Like, is anybody there? But
Okay.
Hi, Jenny from St. Cloud. Oh, I haven't got mine there. Now you can see me.
Now we can see the last Karen.
So I see 3 of us from St. Cloud.
excellent. Yeah, we've got nice groups here.
And 2 from White Bear Lake. Hi,
All
Liz.
right. Excellent.
Excellent.
One from Park Rapids.
All right.
So I think we're at least 3 from Roseville area, aren't we?
Ah,
I
excellent.
think we're 5 or 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good, good, good.
Oh, there's Teresa. I didn't see you, Teresa.
And Mary Peterson and Barbarani.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I have a second, I have on my screen, I can do 1 of 2 and 2 of 2, so I can keep the pictures larger
Oh.
and then overflow to the next page and see everybody else, which is kind of a nice little feature.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Minneapolis people here. I see Diane just came on. Colleen is here too. That's great. Nothing ever going on in Minneapolis. Quiet as can be, right?
Right, just very calm at all times.
Yep, yep, yep.
Colleen, I don't think I've met you yet. I'm Sue Hnastchenko. I'm a member of the Minneapolis League, actually.
Oh my
Hi.
gosh, hi.
Yeah, and I'm working on the membership committee.
Oh,
We
terrific,
started at the beginning of the year. So
terrific. Well, I think that Nancy's great. She's working on
She
the annual
is.
meeting with me and she's just a joy. So I bet that's a good committee to be on.
it is, it is. A lot of dedicated league ladies in that group.
Yep,
Very passionate.
yes, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we are getting into 6:32 suddenly. I'm seeing they're still letting people in, but we're going to get going because we have a power hour and it really is a power 55 minutes because then we have another one starting at 7:30. So I am going to quickly mute you all, my big power of the night. And because there's a lot of you, if you have questions, if you can put them in the chat box as we go along, we'll have official times for questions, but if you have them going along, if you can pop them in there. It's hard for me to watch raised hands when we have multiple screens. So I appreciate that. So we'll get started here. I'm gonna mute you all. Okay, there you go. You still have the power to unmute yourself, but okay, now I'm gonna start my screen. And here we go. We're gonna hit our membership power hour, as we call it. Learn and get your questions answered today. And part of it is we know that a lot of you are also, will have a lot to share as well. So thanks for taking the time to get together. And our big thing tonight is we really want to give you a sort of a sneak peek into our new emerging membership and leadership notebook, handbook. There's lots of things we call it, but right now it's been a notebook. And so one of the things that both Sue and I, as Sue Hnastchenko's been on the state board, and when I started 4 years ago, we had lots of folders with handbooks and notebooks from 5 years, 15, 20. We're just like, what is most current? What is the most real thing? And it was really clear that it was time to move to an online format. We're going to kind of show you that. And part of the challenge is, obviously, as soon as you have a paper handbook, something changes. And in this digital world we're in, we also have the reality that there's lots of great resources out there. And by keeping the handbook online, we can also link to other resources that are out there. And then we also, another great feature of it is instead of having to have like one big handbook, you can just print out pieces that are relevant for your own local league or members or a person's specific job. So we're excited to show off where we're headed. We're not done yet. And we have a goal of being done in August. We'll talk about that so we can still get some of your input tonight. I wanted to start first, though, by showing you that we do have a lot of information already on our website under member resources. And we would say in the state office that probably 90% of the questions we get for things really are on our website. So it's one of the things I really want to make a point of tonight is to kind of walk you through on our website at lwvmn.org. You'll see we have a special banner for convention too, for people who are like, I can't find my Zoom session. We have them all there for you, ready to go tomorrow. But under member resources, we really try to post everything. I mean, we really, on our website, we now have all the state studies. We have, I mean, if you think of it, we try to put it on the website. And so if you are looking for, like, for example, all our capital letters, the program planning guide, if you're, a lot of people will ask questions about where are our programs? How do we know about those? All of those are on this website. And if you go down to the action kits, the events, the councils, past events, we also keep a lot of links to past events. But in the league for specific here, we have our new member guide and our leadership notebook. This is in our, right now in our league admin section. These are the ones that we are really updating. And so the old ones are there now and they're fine, but these are the ones we hope to replace with a lot better stuff. So I want to take a minute to just sort of show you then how this is going to work. So there will be a spot on our website for our handbook. And this is right now, we have 4 sections. We're still sort of adapting some of this, but the first section is really relevant to all league members. It is having in one place all those things that are relevant to all members. Who are we, first of all, right? And you'll see in the overview, it's sort of who are we? What do we do? How do we do it? And then how our local leagues work. So mostly today, Sue and I'm going to talk about this first section here about who are we and how this relates to some other things on our website. And then Sue will cover our local leagues and how we help our local league leadership with the tools we have. So up here, you'll see we are putting up all of our, again, who are we? So that anybody could come on this page and find our mission, our vision, our values, our impact. And one of the things that we find with members, and I think a big piece of what we're trying to really work on with members is getting that consistency between LWVUS, LWVMN, and local leagues, because it's really exciting. That's one of the big messages is you're part of a national organization. And so to the extent that we can continue to align ourselves with the language and the look and all the great resources we have, it really helps members to feel great about what's happening. So on these pages, what there will be are pages like this. You could print these pages out. It's also easier to just copy. You can copy text off of here and then plop it into your own document so that you can easily use things right off of here if you want to make a smaller piece. So it's really going to be great. But then we also will have these links, right? So that's, I think, the biggest benefit are these links. You can always go back quick to the table of contents, like, where am I? We're also going to get a page forward so you can watch it a little bit like a book. But what I really love about it is the ability to stay current, because it's really hard to stay current as everything changes. So what's nice is when you have something like this, if you have a source for it, you can link to that source. And if that source has changed, now you're going to have the updated source. So I think it's really going to be a much better resource for all of us. I know some people really still like paper, and you still can print this out if you want to. But this will be a way to keep everything really organized and up to date. So that's the biggest thing I'm excited about on the new membership and leadership handbook. And then we have everything in one place, and you can take the pieces you need. The other thing we're excited about is a new training opportunities and as sort of a consistent and cyclical training program. We know that this has certainly been high demand, right? When I started, I've been here almost 4 years now. And trainings now can be a lot easier because we can do what we're doing now. We can jump on Zoom. While we may not like it all the time, the opportunity, I mean, we have people here from Duluth and St. Cloud and, all over. And so before, for us to do training really was really difficult, right? To get around, to get people together, it was very costly. This way, we can now offer many more trainings and orientations to members. So we're really excited about maybe the only upside. I always hate to say there's an upside to COVID, but our new learning of how we can use virtual technology to support our mission, this is one of them. So we have 3 new pieces we're going to start. One is the August Academy. So I like alliteration here, you'll see. But the idea is we really we also had a member survey that many of you filled out. We had almost 300 people fill it out. And so we really use this information to guide us. And a lot of it is certainly most people have their annual meetings in the spring and summer. And by fall, new leadership's in place. And there's a lot of new leaders who really are like, oh dear, why did I raise my hand? What am I doing? So we really want to have an opportunity for leaders to be able to learn about their new roles. of course, summer's busy, but we've also found, fall is busy because we have elections, and then winter is busy because we have the session. And so we picked August as a time that we're hoping, again, that people can take a little time off and enjoy each other. Hopefully we could do some of these perhaps hybrid. We'll talk a little bit about hybrid coming up. We'll also tape them. So we can tape like we're doing today. We're taping this. So if people couldn't come, they can watch it at a later date. We really look forward to providing many more resources than specific to leader roles. So we'd love to have one for new presidents, treasurers, membership chairs, action chairs. So this will be, and we are going to start this August. We've already scheduled August 10th through 12 to be setting up over 3 days. It's not like you have to be involved in all 3 days, but we'll set up a bunch of workshops. We'll probably do them multiple times and be able to pull together more networking of individual league members as well, because that's certainly one of the really high requests people have. I want to meet other membership chairs in the state. I want to meet other treasurers in the state. So this would also be a chance to network with those people, get their names and numbers, and be able to connect. So August also gets us ready for that final election push, because we know a lot of our work is happening in September, October, before that November session. So it's a great time, we think, to get those people together. Then we have what we call our January Jumpstart, which would be held in January for both leaders and members. But there are a lot of things happening at the top of the year. One, of course, being session. So we want to push for session, but also it's rosters. People are planning their annual meetings. We have finance forms due. There's a lot of sort of beginning of the calendar year pieces that we would do another helping you get ready for the next calendar year. And then member monthlies. We're really excited to start the second Monday of every month right now is when our all member news goes out, our online newsletter. We're going to use that same time every evening on the second Mondays to have a member monthly where we would have 30 minutes of it be for new members, so that any new member we'd have a standard orientation. This would not replace any orientations you have, but it would provide an orientation for what about LWVUS, what about LWVMN, just to the whole kind of structure. A lot of people have great orientations. We don't want to take away from that, but we do want to be able to add that resource for members. And then also just there's a lot of questions when we have big issues, which we've had some really big issues. Members, I think, would really enjoy having a place where they can come and get more information. So these are the big new 3 training opportunities we're going to start: August Academy, January Jumpstart, and member monthlies. So that is something to look forward to helping you all out. So now, are there any quick questions? I think when I'm sharing my screen, I don't see my chat. Where's my chat? There you are. Any quick questions before we go on? Otherwise, I'll have Sue start us off with the next section. And you have to explain to them, Sue, what's happening here in this lovely picture I put with it.
I unmuted myself here. So this is actually my husband, Mike, and I, and we were at the Ice House, and they did an outdoor concert, and it was a fabulous venue. They contacted us, and the artist actually donated all of the proceeds from the tickets that night to League. So it was really a great, great event. And then they also had us front and center to fill out registration and to get information about voting. And what was really great about that event is they plunked us right in front of where you had to go to find out if you had a ticket. It was an outdoor event at the time, and it was socially distanced, so it was very safe. But it was so fun to talk to everyone. And what was a really unusual, because of COVID, how we know how that affected everyone. What was really unusual about it is I think I only registered 2 people, but talked to nearly everyone, wanted to share the fact that they were registered to vote. I mean, no matter where they were from, they were so proud that they were registered to vote and they were going to vote, and were really appreciative of League. And it was really a great, great event. It was a lot of fun. So that was that. And then Michelle, are you going to share the screen or how do you want to do it? Moving on to part 4 of the membership handbook. So keep in mind that when we first input this, it was all pre-COVID. And we had these grand plans of having it all done in, 6 or 7 months. And that obviously COVID came up and a lot of other things came up. So basically this has been put on hold. Since I flushed all this information into this format, I have 6 pages worth of edits, have turned it into 9 chapters and made it much more user-friendly. But this will give you a really good idea about what the membership handbook entails. And one thing too I love about this format that we've come up with, and I think the key to it is this is a place for you to go and hopefully get your questions answered. I sat in so many meetings, whether it's a membership meeting, when I used to be a co-league president, and I was fortunate. I had the fabulous Kay Erickson as my co-president, and she knew answers to everything. But if she wasn't there were so many times that we're like, well, what do we do? What's the policy? What does this mean? And we had to call somebody or, try to wade through the old website, and it was so hard. So what we're hoping to do here is first give you the basic information about any given topic. So it is right in front of you. And then at the bottom, if you want to know more about that specific topic, you can hit the local resources on the LWVMN website. And then if you want to take a deep dive, you have even more guidance through the LWVUS website, which is huge. Putting this together, I don't know how many of you have gone into the member portal on the national site and tried to find something under member resources. It looks great. It's very simple, but it's very vague and it's really difficult to find information. And so us giving you these links, I think you're going to find to be a wonderful, wonderful resource. So that's really, so a quick fact, and then you can dive a little bit deeper, and then you can take a really deep dive if you want. So you saw how the PMP, I think Michelle started at the top with PMP, and that gives you a good example of that, but not necessary. So if we go to new member engagement, and we're going to elaborate on all of this, but I guess my biggest thing that I would like to get across tonight about membership and new members and engaging members and retaining members is that I think would be really helpful if we all would think of them as a continuous circle and loop. I think it's really easy to compartmentalize it. And when it comes time to renewal, say, oh, what can we do to reach out to these members to get them to renew? Or when we first engage, what can we do to get new members to sign up? When really they're so interdependent on each other. Retaining your members really starts the minute that they become a member. And that's so important that you welcome that new member and that you engage them. So like I said, this was pre-COVID. And so like in this, we don't have accommodations, or we haven't considered Zoom meetings. So we're going to have to adjust, and we're going to have to add those things. But really would suggest to everybody to make sure that you try to get a personal ask, a personal touch to your new members, create some kind of welcome packet via email or in person or the mail, and then do a new member orientation. Minneapolis just started doing this, and Nancy Albrecht's been doing it. It's fabulous. Every time they've been trying to do it quarterly, and they just have anybody who joined new log in. They have their board of directors there. Everybody does a little spiel about what they do and what league does, and it's a really great way for everyone to get introduced to league principles. Ultimately, under the new member orientation, the National League just came out with a PowerPoint presentation for new members nationally that you can use. I think it was done 2 months ago, but we would like to do the same thing. So you'll have access to the LWVMN new member orientation, and you can use that PowerPoint and then just tack on your things. Or you can supplement it with the LWVUS PowerPoint, or whatever things you want to do. But I think it's really important that we cover things consistently, like the nonpartisan policy, the DEI policy, our member code of conduct, our speaking with one voice, so that we're all really clear on what it is we're trying to achieve as league members. So once you do that new member outreach, and a lot of people will do a new member mentor or an ambassadorship or a membership committee. I think it's really important to have a one-on-one conversation, or maybe a form, which we do have available online through LWVMN. It's a new member form. And to find out what it is that this person wants to be involved with that's joining your league. Why did they join league? What do they specifically want to do? Make note of that, and then try to hook them up with your voter service chair, with your advocacy chair. So why did they join? What do they want to accomplish? And how involved do they want to be? Because it's really important that you identify where they're going to fit into your league, so that you're not calling people or reaching out to people to, say, do a voter service event where they're interacting with the public when they don't want to have anything to do with public meetings. And they're really interested in doing study, and they're policy geeks. So you want to make sure that you're plugging everybody into the right spot. And once you figure that out and you get your members engaged, then they're going to be participating, they're going to be engaging, and you don't have to worry about the renewal and retenting, because they're going to renew because they're engaged and they're excited and they want to keep going. That being said, you do want to come up with a formal plan for renewing your members. We have a suggested format again in this handbook, and it will be elaborated upon. But generally, you want to come up with a plan. I would suggest no later than 60 days out before a member is due for renewal, that you're sending out an email reminder, or if you have a lot of members who don't have access to email, keep them in mind, send them out a paper copy. And then if you don't hear from them at the 60-day, then send it to the 30-day. And then usually we have our annual meetings, and that's another opportunity for you to do that final ask. And then it's never too late to, if they don't respond, to call them. You know, I really think that we underestimate the value of a personal phone call, especially in the age of COVID when everybody's Zooming. I don't want to get all blinged up every time. I just want to pick up the phone and chat with somebody. And there's a lot of value in that. And I think people really strive for personal interaction. So I think that personal ask is so important, not only in the original time that you're gaining your members, especially if you're at, if we get back to the point where we're doing voter registration in person, like, don't be afraid to ask those people who are registering to vote to become a member of League. If they're attending one of your meetings, you know, that's a great opportunity for you to ask them to become a member of your League. And then lastly, I would say the important thing is, do not give up on people who have dropped out of League. Keep in touch with them, send them fundraising letters. Give them a phone call once in a while. Send them an email maybe a couple times a year and say, hey, I thought of you, and we're doing this study, or we're having this meeting, and I know that water is really important to you. You might want to attend this meeting. And it might be a way to get them to reconnect. And people's life circumstances change immensely. I know that in the last year, I had to put my board membership on leave for 6 months because I took care of my mom. And people's life circumstances change, and whereas they weren't able to fully get engaged, 2-3 years ago, maybe now they have that opportunity. So really make sure that you keep those lists, reconnect with them, and engage in old members, inactive members. you never know who's going to want to come back to League, because we are a wonderful organization and you just learn so much. So let's see here. Again, I think that's it. I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about. Take advantage of, once we get this up, I hope you all take advantage of it. We are open for any suggestions. Like I said, do not take these specific chapters too literally, because we've got some more work to do, but it's been a fun project to work on.
Well, thank you again, Sue, for all your work on this. It really will be great to have. And like you said, we've had our same issues of just like, how many starting a new league booklets do we have? So it's going to be great. So we're really, I think, on track to get the whole piece launched in August. One of the questions in the chat was, well, how do we reach out to people who don't have the internet? And that is definitely a challenge. We still certainly have paper flyers, and but that is really about one of the pieces we're going to talk about here. Is there is still a role for us all to play to get out in the community, as so many of you do. And so we'll talk about that. It was interesting when we did vote 411 that we did have it was several dozen candidates running for something that themselves did not have internet service. And so they were wondering how they could participate. So that was interesting that we still are in that place for certain folks. All right, so now I was just going to cover, and this is, again, we'll also look forward to getting some ideas from you all, but we really wanted to talk about some of these special circumstances. And this is what some of the questions we get a lot about members is, and how we manage our members, and certainly how do we diversify our membership. Of course, there are whole classes on this topic, so I don't pretend that we are going to dig deep here, but there are a few things we really wanted to point out tonight. And in the world of diversity, equity, and inclusion, how do we engage diverse people? There's two things. One is including those with different political thoughts, because we have had some of our newer leagues that have been challenged with people who don't necessarily agree with all of our positions. And how do you deal with that? And I think what's exciting for me about membership is everything Sue said is about, it's really just about one-on-one engagement. It's still, imagine that. Just think about that. If you think about, what if all of our 2,300 league members reached out to just one other person? If that was your goal, right, in 1 year, to find one new member out of 365 days, I think we could do that. And sometimes we try to do everything but that, right? We try to do this big thing and big events and big stuff. And so while we want to think big in the world, sometimes I want to say we want to think smaller, like what is really in our scope to do. We have a lot of power as individual members to reach out to people. And that is really where it really resonates. The other piece about diversity, equity, inclusion, though, what I really wanted to talk about is that we, in order to really be able to accommodate a lot of different people, we need to be doing a lot of different things, meaning we need to look at the issues that we are studying, that we're talking about, that we're acting on. Edina, and if you tomorrow, or let's say at the roundtable on Saturday, there are several leagues who are hosting a roundtable on DEI in local leagues. But where the success has really happened is based on, right, the issues that they're choosing to focus on. So in Edina, they have grown by almost 40 members in this last year, because they really took a strong stand on racial justice issues. And people really wanted a place to be able to act on that mission. And that's what really, and when Sue talked about understanding your members, it really is understanding your community and the people you want to be members. What's important to people in your community? And are you there? Are you engaged? If there's a trash hauling issue, if there's a water issue, if there are racial justice problems, being present where people are that are working on important things is really where members, potential members can be, and our willingness to work together with those folks, with folks to bring them in, but part of it is going also where they are. And that's where I think, Karen, I'm glad you brought this up because that's a big part. It's a big part of the next session on marketing is, you said St. Cloud will have a table at our local Juneteenth celebration. That's exactly right. We, in the marketing piece tonight, I'll talk a little bit about one of the partnerships we're developing with the State League, and we are going to be at a local Juneteenth event as well. I know our Woodbury, Cottage Grove area League is involved here. We have a Juneteenth event here. So that's the easiest thing, right? The best thing is to look at where are people who are different than us and what are they doing and how can we be present to them. Sometimes we're like, well, how do we invite people in is really important. We talked a lot about how to be welcoming, how to be inclusive. But how do you, about being present where they are? Sally, you were saying Duluth has been a part of Juneteenth for several years. And I know that a lot of times if your league is all white and you show up at a place where it's all people of color, that's great. I know that might be uncomfortable to begin with, but those are really the building blocks of doing diversity, equity, inclusion is understanding the people who are different than us and being present where they are. We also can provide our expertise. So when we're going to be at the Juneteenth event, we're working with Sweet Potato Comfort Pie and Rose McGee, who is a Golden Valley member. And we're going to be doing voter registration. And so she has her pies. Well, we have our league aprons and she thinks that'll be really great. And so we'll be able to do voter registration at this big event that's actually just down the street from our state league office, and being able to be visible to people, but for us to learn and them to learn. So I think it is that opportunity. Carol, you're asking, how do you really reach out, and how do we reach out to people different than us? And I think a lot of it is just looking for those opportunities. Some of it is going to important meetings, looking for where people are gathering, what events are important to them, things like Lunar New Year. And there's just so many amazing things happening in our communities. So I want you to think, I think it's just sort of turning DEI a little bit. We often think about inviting and welcoming in, which is great, but it's also about us going out. I want to talk a little bit about different political thoughts too. And so I've spoken to several leagues where there've been some issues before. And I often will say, well, how many of you have families? How many of you all think alike? So does that mean that you don't hang out with your family because you don't agree on everything? I mean, we all don't agree on everything. That is the nature of a democracy. It's the beauty of a democracy. And I think that what people sometimes think is our weakness is such our strength. And there is just not a better time to be absolutely clear that we are absolutely proud that we have many, many issues that we've studied, we've brought people together, we've built consensus on. And what individual parties do with those issues, that's up to them. But these are issues important to us. And we know that not all issues are, people don't necessarily all share the same issues. But it's the ability to be in conversation with people who don't all think alike. That's what a democracy is. How do we get along? How do we participate meaningfully in things? If we care about accessing, obviously we have a fundamental core concern that everybody has access and ability to vote. And another comment that just came through, which is another great piece Liz, a good way to know about different political thoughts is to read their news and articles. Just get off your normal, whatever 8 o'clock show is, and turn the channel, right? Read different things, be able to have those conversations. They're not easy, and we're also happy to help at the state level. If you can certainly always call on us. I've been called on many times, but it is a great way to really bring diversity, equity, inclusion to life. The other part of that is partnering, as Sue is saying. When you're doing candidate forums, I can't think of it, such a great opportunity. I would suggest to people, like, again, if you could do one thing this year, is to really make sure you have and you invite someone to partner to every candidate forum, because that's a real easy way to, it's a great way to make a new partner. And once you have partnered with people, the idea of building membership is still the same. You don't partner once and then just hope people come back and send a few emails. We need to, at that point, then be really inviting people in. So I think it's really important. If you remember, with the census, we had, what was it, 29 votes, right? There 29. If we had, that's how close we were to losing a congressional seat. Okay. So I feel like getting a big t-shirt that says 29 on it, because it's a reminder of the power of one, right? You think of what power is there in each one of us to get one more member, to do one more thing. It isn't always about the big gesture, but the small individual gesture. Chamber of Commerces are great to partner with forums. And sometimes they'll have more, different people who think different things as well. So, and I'm also, again, another place we can help you with this at the state is helping you brainstorm who some of those would be. But I'd really encourage you, I think if you could build one more partner this year and have one more place that you go. Another thing is to host your meeting, your member meeting at their organization. I know that Bloomington does a meeting every year, and they'll do it at a different nonprofit in their community. So it's a chance to tour that nonprofit. So that's a really good opportunity. So those are real simple, great things. So we were talking about the chamber as a partner, and I know that's another big piece of partnership. We'll talk about this more in membership at 7:30, but yeah, if chamber endorses, we don't do partner with people on candidate forums if they endorse. But a lot of them, a lot of times it's good to also work with them on other issues. Maybe you have redistricting is really a great opportunity for us. We're really working with a lot of local leagues to really use this opportunity to do community mapping to help the communities reach out to new people. So I wanted to talk a little bit about just a little bit about our nonpartisanship and different political thoughts too. And again, I just find it's been very interesting, and certainly in my role right now, when I've had some league members who have written who were upset about advocacy we did. We participated in the Walls Climate Report Card with Minnesota Environmental Partnership and a variety of environmental people. We have a lot of people interested in the environment, as you know, in our league. But what's really great about that piece of advocacy is that it was just really saying, Governor Walz, this is what you said, this is what you've done, and this is what you can do to get better, right? To earn a better grade. It's a very smart piece. And so some people were upset that why are we picking on the governor, right? On the other hand, we had some people upset because after January 6th, we did call out individual names of representatives and senators who were telling lies. There are people who are not telling the truth, and we did call them out. So what I like to say is, and when people talk about nonpartisanship, is we really, it is partisan to not call people out because of their party, just the same way as it is to call them out because of their party. You want to be, the idea is what are our issues? What do we care about? And how do we best advocate for them? And I think we've really shown in a lot of our work that we continue to do that we are pushing forward, not based on party, but on principle. And that is something that right now in our democracy is really, really unique. It is not easy, and people have challenges, but I'm again happy to help people deal with it. And I think members who have challenges right now, it's great to say, isn't that great? Isn't that great that you can have a challenge, that you can disagree, that we can sit here around a table and disagree about something? That is what democracy is, the opportunity for us to have our own point of view. And that's what we want for everybody, isn't it? Wouldn't it be great if everybody had that same right? That's what we're pushing for. So there's a lot of really great conversations to have, and a lot of great language. Again, not to keep pushing forward on my the next workshop, but there is a lot of language that LWVUS uses, that we use, that you can also use to help in your local league. Briefly, also Greater Minnesota. A lot of people say, how do we get people involved? How do we get people involved? And I just wanted to build on what Sue was saying as well. It really is about what Edina is showing is getting people involved is about getting people involved in issues they care about. People may not, hey, you want to join the league? Well, what's the league? Who was the league? Use your mission, show what you're doing, and also be willing to look at what are the issues. Is broadband. What about working on broadband issues when we know those are important in rural Minnesota? And we know, a lot of our outstate leagues, Greater Minnesota leagues, are working on a lot of environmental issues because they are affected by those. So it really is the same thing. While there are fewer people, but the other opportunity that Greater Minnesota has is there are also not as many organizations to join. So I often say, it's a real opportunity to think about, how can you be active on the issues? It really is the issues that bring people to league. And that is a real important piece. What if dues are a burden? People always ask about dues. And people can certainly come to meetings and they can sign up to be on mailing lists before they pay any dues. I think we really know that, and people have done that, but I think just a reminder, keep having people keep coming and those not being a burden. I think we have been talking about some of the states. I do get together regularly with other state executive directors, and we talk about having, dues to be pay what you can. That's a conversation that we're going to have because it does seem, that most of the states who've gone to pay what you can raise a lot more money that way because people who know, hey, I want to pay for somebody else to make sure that this isn't a burden. So there are ways like that we can continue to look at to make sure that that's not an issue. I also want to touch just a little bit on virtual and hybrid engagement. Obviously, post-COVID, we all have a lot to think about, and we still need to get together. It's still important to have human interaction. And so I really want to encourage local leagues not to give up Zoom. One thing right now, the easiest thing is to maybe alternate, right, over this next year. Do some things, especially things with partners. When you can partner, if you bring 3 or 4 partners in and you can have a Zoom meeting with, 100 or more people, that you want to do that. And don't forget, as Sue said as well, what most people don't do at the end of their Zooms is ask people to join or sign up or, put that engagement piece in there. Let us hear from you. Zoom is a great way because you can capture everybody's emails and you can come back and say, we're so glad you participated. And you can build your lists for members, prospects really well through doing Zoom meetings. So we really hope that people won't give it up altogether. We do help you again at the state league to make sure that you can access Zoom for cheap. So use us for that if you need to. We will be also doing we're doing a little investigation ourselves now about hybrid, right? How do we get together but still be able to provide live streaming? So we will be looking at how we can continue to use those pieces. And lastly, before we get to some of your thoughts and questions some more, is leader fatigue. So when it comes to membership, certainly one of the biggest things we see is leaders are fatigued. A lot of presidents who are trying to get out of their roles, who have a hard time. We're really going to work this year on that. One of them is just by what we're talking about now, trying to get our materials in better shape, online and accessible, so it's clear what people are supposed to do and they're not fishing around for those things, but also helping people to better break down the tasks. We have seen a lot of leagues move to leadership models that are shared, it's and really helping presidents and really do co-presidents and really building leaders. So that is something we really can help you do too, and really want to encourage you in your local leagues to think about, do we have to do it this way? Is there another way? Can we break these jobs up when we're having a hard time? So I think kind of the bottom line for me, as Sue was saying, it really is about asking people, right? It just is. If I pick up the phone and ask somebody to do something, it is 75% likely that they will. That's kind of the rule, right? We say that in fundraising too. If you pick up the phone and talk to people, so if you're just emailing and you're just sending things out, that is just not the best method of engagement. It just never will be. It is a great way to support, supplement, to inform, but it isn't engagement. Engagement is I put something out and I'm getting something back. It's two-way communication. And I try to really say that. People will say, well, we put this stuff out there. And then I always say the big thing to put out there is yourselves. Get out, find a new spot to be, a new place to hang out so that you can be meeting new people. And that's the best way, and having those interactions. So that's our laundry list of big thoughts and ideas in this very short time frame. So do people have any other questions? I see in the chat, I've been trying to handle some of these. I know that some of the questions really are the bottom line is we do have a hard time with conservative members. We are often perceived as being a liberal organization. What I would say in our advocacy is that we certainly that shows up, but it also, as we've been doing advocacy in other ways and working with redistricting and working in the environment, we've also been working at cross purposes with some Democrats. So it is a tough way. I think the thing is really to say our issues have not changed. We have most of our issues are longstanding, but we know that the way people support the issues has, and that's just what it is. And can't that be okay? Can't we talk about that? That is what we do. It was interesting to me throughout the centennial when we were doing all that research to see how many, when the first 4 women were elected in 1922, all 4 of them represented a different caucus. They didn't have partisan, at the time it was not a partisan, but they all had a different caucus. And it was just a great thing that is what it's about. We do have different points of view. And it's where the league is really powerful right now, is our ability to have respectful, meaningful conversations with everybody where they're at, and finding those issues that are important in your community. That's why people join. And also on a little, I always say the one reason that most people are inactive is because they just forgot to send in their little thing. So, it really is that simple sometimes. And being able to make sure that you have an electronic way to pay for your members that's, for people who I don't even have a checkbook anymore, kind of folks. That's, all those things that become important. Those technical issues, we'll try to keep helping to at the state level. All right, so does anyone have any successes they want to share too for other people about membership? Ways that you've engaged your members, that you feel good? If you can just put your name in chat, and then you can unmute yourself. I'll call on you. We like success stories, everyone likes success. I bet somebody's having success. one of the success stories I will point out also from Duluth, as I've gotten to know more Duluth folks, is their success with their partnerships. They do a really great job. There's Citizen in Action group that's been, I think, almost 20 years old now, and partnering with several groups that being able to have those partnerships that do something together every year really is a great way for people to see the opportunities to join and to be engaged as members. Any special problems, other problems? Give me tough ones, you guys. I like the tough problems that you're dealing with, that you're having a hard time with your members. Anything specifically? I know that one of the other things I wanted to say is people talk about younger members, and I would say, oh, you mean like 45? And so I do think it's good to remember. I mean, another thing is baby boomers, while we are really working on youth and that it will continue to be important, it's also good to remember, well, you know, who is the natural group for League is still a natural group for League, right? So the fact is we have the largest number of people coming up, and all our retirees, right? All the baby boomer generation are coming up. They have time, they have resources. And look, we just, as most of you know from Paul Huffman, who is our redistricting coordinator, is a retired nuclear power plant manager. And he wanted to work on redistricting. And he is a full-time volunteer working with us at Census and Redistricting. So we also, I think obviously we're looking at younger students and everything, but we also want to continue to just, sometimes I feel like we overcomplicate it. What about my neighbor next door? They know me, they're interested. What about, you know, this person? What about someone down the road? I just think if we all challenged ourselves to find one new member, and you think of what that is, wow, that would be 2,300 new members. That would be amazing. And when you think about that, it's a big one. Somebody's also writing, when I lived in New Hampshire, our local league offered infant and toddler babysitting. That's how I got interested 40 years ago.
Oh.
Another great idea, being able to have meetings where children are welcome or where childcare is provided. So those are great, very creative ideas. Any others you want to throw out there in chat?
Well, Cindy Olson said that she gained partnerships through with Vote. Where did it go? Vote with Confidence project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know if she wants to share more about that, what it is.
Yeah, we started this a couple of years ago. I guess the idea behind it was that the voting process, even for people who are pretty plugged in, can be so overwhelming and so confusing. And I thought about this, especially, excuse my dog here. She picks the greatest times to, you know. But I thought about this when I took my elderly mother to vote, that, I mean, it was, she needed a lot of help. I mean, it was just overwhelming, even going to the polls and doing all of that stuff. So we thought, if you are maybe a disenfranchised person in some population that doesn't have the confidence to know how to go through the process, what can we do? So we put together these workshops, and we took them on the road, and we partnered with our one of our local Islamic community locations called Wisdom House. We partnered with Minnesota State University. We went to Gustavus. We went to our community center. We went to a local church that has community breakfast for homeless people. And we tried to find people where they live, you know, where they gather. And we went through the whole process. We had election judges there who talked about what they do as an election judge. We had mock voting booths. We had, it was really an interactive kind of thing. They could register to vote. They could check their voter registration. They could learn about different ways to vote. They could go and, you know, have a conversation with the election judge and learn what to do once you get in the booth, if that's what you're going to do. And then we had other resources for finding out information about candidates. We loved how interactive it was. We made some mistakes. We learned lots of lessons, but you know, I think we're pretty committed to continuing with that program.
Well, it's a perfect exit quote. I couldn't have even put it perfect. Thank you, Cindy. And the power of partnering, right? Of learning, of putting ourselves someplace different and new where people come to know us. And I think that's how people come to join us. Girl Scouts, yep, Karen's asking about providing Girl Scout badges. I could totally hook us up with the Ohio League. They are very proud of that. That's another great opportunity, right, for involving people that could include their mothers as and fathers as members as well. So please do look again in August when we'll be rolling out the new membership materials. The other great thing about the online membership materials is that you can edit them at the drop of a hat. And so we'll be able to keep your sharp eyes on them and make sure we're giving everyone those good resources. So, all right. Very good, everyone. I need to sign off so we can go to marketing, but I hope this was helpful, maybe gave you some ideas and thoughts, and certainly a sneak peek into what is to come. And Colleen, yeah, partnering, Feige, partnering with Girl Scouts, and the badges and all that good stuff is great. We're excited. I've tooted your horn a lot, Colleen, about really how you guys have grown through your commitment to racial justice. Great messages for everyone. Find those issues and get out there. So thank you so much, everybody. Hope you're well. Stay cool. We'll see you hopefully also either next or tomorrow. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.